Hey guys, welcome to Election Party Politics. Today we're going to be talking about the 2022 Senate races and my predictions for those, and a little bit about the voter suppression currently being introduced throughout legislators and in the states. Republicans have introduced 250 plus laws in 43 states to suppress the vote or change the vote or change the way the vote is counted or change the way voters can register. All different things trying to suppress a certain vote that they don't want to go through. A lot of this is going to depend on who is running the states. The governorships, who are in the legislators, if it is a Republican trifecta, those things will depend on what laws are actually going to get passed through. Okay, my first state I'm going to do is Colorado. I'm going to put that as likely. Michael Bennet is the current incumbent there. He won his last election by 5 percentage points, and he will be the favorite to win since Colorado has been shifting to the left ever since Obama first won it back in 2008. So that gives the Democrats 46 and the Republicans are at 43. Some of these other states, these are safe states. I have classified as safe states. Kansas is still a safe state. South Carolina is still a safe state. It is trend. They did all vote a little bit to the Democratic side this last time, but they are still very safe for the GOP and the Democrats as well for the blue states, Vermont, New York, all these actually, even ones we aren't filling in. A lot of these don't have races up this time. My next state I'm going to do is going to be Ohio. I'm going to make that a lean Republican state. I believe that whoever the GOP nominee is to replace Rob Portman will do very well in the general election. They could win by as much as 5 points. They could win by 10 points, but either way, I believe that this will come away as a GOP victory. Ohio also has a trifecta, so they can pass new voter suppression laws. So does Indiana. A lot of these dark red states here all have Republican-controlled legislators and Republican governors, besides Kentucky. But Kentucky has a veto-proof majority for Andy Beshear, so it's like the legislator is in control of the government, which does happen. California has their own thing going on. New York has their own supermajority. Washington has a supermajority. Massachusetts, there's Republican Governor Charlie Baker, and he could veto bills, but they have veto-proof majorities there as well, so they could override anything that he's trying to not pass. My next state I'm going to do is going to be Alaska, and Lisa Murkowski. I believe that she will win re-election. There are many options as how she can win now. They have changed it to a blanket primary, so the top 4 finishers in the primary head to the general election. So she's going to the general election either way. And then it's ranked choice voting. So you have a second choice, a third choice. So the top 2 vote getters proceed to the next stage for ranked choice voting if there is not more than 50, somebody doesn't win 50% of the vote. And I believe that the Democrats, if their candidate doesn't make it, they're going to have Lisa Murkowski as their second choice because they don't want a deep red Trump. And then the same goes for the Republicans. If one of their candidates doesn't make it, I assume that they're going to vote for Lisa Murkowski. So she's got a win-win situation going on for her there. And I think that she will easily win re-election. Maybe not with 50% of the vote, but she's never won 50% of the vote, and she still wins. She won in 2010 by a write-in. She lost the Republican primary, and she waged a write-in campaign, and she became the second senator in state history, or in United States history ever to win by a write-in. My next state I'm going to do is going to be Florida. Florida, I'm going to give that a Republican lean. Marco Rubio, he could actually win this by a likely margin. He is very popular among Floridians. He's popular with the elderly, and he's popular with the Cuban Americans. And those are important votes when you're trying to run statewide, especially in a state like Florida. So I think he will easily cruise to re-election, especially since he's in the Trump's good graces, and especially since Ivanka Trump has said she will not run for his Senate seat. So that is all pointing to good signs for him. In Georgia, I am going to tilt this as Democratic for Raphael Warnock. If the Georgians get away in the legislature with what they're doing and they want to pass all this voter suppression, I think it may have the reverse effect. I think people are going to be very, very upset that they are trying to come for their vote, and they will turn out in huge numbers, whether they've got to wait in line or not, whether they can't get water in line from other people or not. It I think they are going to do their best to try and suppress the vote, but I don't think that they understand going against Raphael Warnock. He is the first African American senator ever from Georgia. He is going to get a lot of votes. And if Stacey Abrams runs for the governorship, you can best believe that whether or not they get these bills passed and these votes through, I think Georgia is going to lean to the blue, especially if Stacey Abrams decides to run. The next state I'm going to do is going to be Arizona with Mark Kelly. I'm going to give that a lean Democratic. If Doug Ducey does run and Mitch McConnell gets his wish, I believe that it will be a very, very close race, but I still think Mark Kelly can pull it out. There are some voter suppression laws being pushed through Arizona as well, and if Doug Ducey signs those into law, maybe that will help his case. But I don't think he's going to win favor of voters by trying to cancel their votes. So he may just not sign the legislation, and then over a couple of days after not signing it, it will become law. The next state I'm going to do is going to be Nevada. Catherine Cortez Masto is the incumbent here. She won in 2016 by about the same exact margin as Hillary Clinton did, and Joe Biden won by the same margin as they did as well. Nevada is tinting blue. It's still getting there. Their legislature is all Democratic, though, and the governor is a Democrat. So no voter suppression will be being pushed through in this state. And I think that it has a very likely tilt to the left, especially if the GOP is deciding to dig their heels in and stick with the party of Trump. The next state I'm going to do is going to be Iowa. Chuck Grassley may retire. He may not. He will be almost 90 years old if he were to run for the Senate again in 2022. And then by the time he's done with his term, he'd be 95, going on 96. He said if he feels he can do it, he's going to run. I think he probably won't. But even if he doesn't run, there'll be a new incumbent Republican afterwards. I think Kim Reynolds probably would run for it. She may leave her governor post to run for the Senate to keep the Republican seat, and it may work, and I think it's a lean Republican at this point. Then there's North Carolina. I'm going to give that a lean Republican. If Laura Trump does run for the seat, I think she has a great shot at winning it, especially with Trump helping her. North Carolina tries to pass voter suppression stuff, but it can't pass right now because Roy Cooper's there. And if Roy Cooper does end up running against Laura Trump, I think it will be the closest Senate race in North Carolina in a really long time. And it would be an interesting matchup because I really could give it a lean Democratic because Roy Cooper has proven he can win statewide even during a presidential election year when the Democratic Party loses on the ticket. He wins. He won in 2016 and he just won in 2020. So I'm still going to give that a lean Republican state just because of the vicinity to Donald Trump. And if Laura Trump is on the ticket, I think there's a really good shot that the Republicans will keep this seat. So far they would be keeping 2 of their open seats here, 3 with Alabama and 4 with Missouri. So they have a really good shot at keeping most of their open seats. If Ron Johnson runs in Wisconsin, I believe it is a lean Republican. Wisconsin goes back and forth, back and forth. They have for a very long time, usually every 2 years. When George Bush was president, Jim Doyle was governor here. When Barack Obama was president, Scott Walker was governor. And then as soon as Donald Trump got in, Tony Evers got into the governorship. So I believe that it's a lean Republican, even if Ron Johnson doesn't run and like Mike Gallagher runs or Scott Fitzgerald, whoever they decide to run in this seat, I believe that it will be a lean Republican because Wisconsin is very wishy-washy. We were the closest state and we were the tipping point state. If Joe Biden had lost the 2 closest states, Arizona and Georgia, he would have had to have kept Wisconsin in order to win the presidency. But our last couple of votes have all been very, very close besides Tammy Baldwin's United States Senate win in 2018. She won by 10 percentage points. But that was an anomaly, and it hasn't occurred again since. My next state is going to be the state of New Hampshire. As of right now, it is a lean Democratic state. Maggie Hassan is the former governor, and she won her race in 2016 by like 2,000 votes. It was very, very close, maybe the closest Senate race in New Hampshire history. But she has a good shot at keeping her seat if Chris Sununu, the New Hampshire governor, doesn't run. If he does decide to run, I would say that she is going to have a very hard time keeping this seat. He just won re-election with over 60% of the vote. He hasn't announced yet, though, so I'm still going to give this a lean Democratic, because if it's not him, she's got a very good chance. If it is him, it's going to be a fight. And my last state I'm going to do is Pennsylvania. Now, a lot of people probably would put this as a lean Democratic state. I believe it is a lean Republican state because Pennsylvania likes to go back and forth as well, and they have elected Republican governors in the last 10 years, and they've elected Republican senators with Pat Toomey, the moderate. If they can field a moderate, they may have a really good shot. But I believe that they are going to have a very far right candidate because that's what Donald Trump wants. And if he gets his way and they have a very far right candidate, it's going to be really hard to sell to moderates and independents. So I believe that the Democrat in this case would win. And I think Connor Lamb has a really good shot if he wants to run for that seat. It'd be a really cool option. So I have it at 51 for the Democrats and 49 for the Republicans, with Democrats just barely keeping the Senate, but now having a little cushion onto it. Moving into 2024, they're going to have a lot of seats to fight for. It will be an interesting brawl. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe as well. You can comment down below and I will respond to all comments. Thank you.